Commanders. Hello Commanders, and welcome to the continued tour of the galaxy. We are now in the can't think what it's called, the Arcadian stream, which not to be confused with a gaming stream. So the Arcadian stream is a very long thin sector which stretches from the sort of the middle of the north of the galaxy to the middle of the south of the galaxy. Let's have a look at it on the map. Right, so we are about here. Yeah, this Arcadian stream is this sector here. We are heading towards, at the moment, a planetary nebula, which is about here, and then we'll be going to this fleet carrier, and then this one, which almost certainly won't happen in today's stream. Yeah, so the galaxy tour so far, we started at Sol, we went to the tip of this spiral arm, and we've been following the spiral arm in towards the center of the galaxy. Then when we get there, we'll follow the next spiral arm out all the way to Beagle Point and to the tip of the spiral arm beyond that. Right, so anyway, into the game. I have just come from a water world, a system with water world. That's the last system I stopped in. Water world was the only thing of interest in that system. We have 15 jumps before we get to the planetary nebula. Now this looked quite an interesting thing on the galaxy map. It was very fiery. So yeah, I'm interested to see what that looks like when I get there. All the planetary nebulas I've been to so far on this trip have been sort of very purple in colour. This one is a very orangey red colour. So I'm not sure if that means it's lower energy or it's newer or what, but we'll see what that looks like when we get there.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Straight away we find water worlds, probably two. Right, so there's one of them. Yeah, there is another one somewhere in the system. Right, so as is a water world, we'll do a quick scan of the whole system, and then we will visit the water worlds and map those. And if we find anything else with life on, we will map that and also go and scan the life. Right, so it looks like we have another star in this system, so some of them might be quite a long way off. Yeah, so far in the Arcadian stream, I haven't found very much. I think I've only stopped on about 2 planets to actually scan life. And I found an Earth-like world yesterday off stream, and if you look at the previous stream when we started in this sector, we went to a stellar point of interest that was from the map, and didn't find that very interesting. Although we did nearly get burnt up in that system because we came out of hyperspace between 2 very large hot stars. Right, there's something else over here. Right, there's 40 bodies in this system. That's higher than average, so there's a pretty good chance there'll be something in here with life on. that's the other water world. Geological activity on that moon. Nothing on there. Nothing on there. Just if there's nothing around that one. Yeah, there is. Geological activity. More geological activity. Gas giant. More geological activity. More on there. So a lot of geological activity in this system. I don't think I've seen. I can't remember if I've seen any biological activity yet. Right, that's the whole system. Right, let's have a look to see what we found. Right, so it's quite a big system. There are no landable planets there with an atmosphere, and none of right, 2 landable planets there, 3. No, oh, actually all of these. 5 landable planets with an atmosphere there. Another one here. Right, so there were 2 water worlds. Where's the first one? Is that one? That's a water world. Alright, so it's these 2 here. And that one is that one's a candidate for terraforming, so that will be the most valuable, but we'll go to this one first. Right, so the way to tell if it's landable and it's got an atmosphere, this blue arc around it means we can land on the planet, and the blue bubble around the planet means it has an atmosphere. So this one here has an atmosphere, quite a thick atmosphere, but we can't land on it. And this one here has no atmosphere, but we can land on it. So we're looking for the blue arc and the blue bubble. Right, let's head off. It's only 76 light seconds away, so in that case there's no need to put it up to full throttle, because by the time you escape the sun's gravity, it'll be time to slow down. So yeah, you can just put that at 75% and then you won't overshoot when you get there. So this looks like it's quite a big one. 8 probes, yeah, so that's very big for a water world. Most water worlds are 6 or 7 probes to complete them. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do it in 4 though.
Surface scanned by 50%.
Yeah,
Surface
4
scan
probes.
complete.
And off to the other water world. Right, so this will be the valuable planet for scanning in the system. It's a candidate for terraforming, which adds a lot to the value, and it's a water world, which again, that's second off. It's only behind sort of ammonia worlds and Earthlight worlds in terms of value. So yeah, this should be quite valuable. While those probes are on the way, we'll plot our route to those planets with atmospheres.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
So 56,000 light seconds. That's going to take probably about 7 minutes to get there. Yeah, so yeah, nothing much is going to be happening in the next 7 minutes. I did hear there was some new news in the codex, so let's listen to some Galnet news.
Delta Pavonis hosts political conference. Delegations from the Federation and the dictator Yuri Grom are meeting to determine the Delta Pavonis system's future. Both are on a diplomatic mission to convince its controlling faction to either swear allegiance to Yuri Grom or become a federal member state. Delta Pavonis was one of the original signatories of the Federal Accord in 2242, but has recently been governed by an independent autocracy. Yuri Grom himself is present, having arrived on the megaship Indomitable. Grom was once a respected admiral in the Federal Navy, before defecting with huge numbers of ships and followers. They established the independent EG Union, which he presides over as a military dictatorship. The rival delegation is led by Ambassador Delphine Dumont of the Federal Diplomatic Corps. They were transported on the Freedoms Foundation megaship courtesy of Delta Pavonis Galactic Interstellar, which formerly controlled the system. The ambassador invited newsfeeds to witness her initial introduction to Yuri Grom, who seemed slightly taken aback by her warm greeting. Grand Duke Simeon Petrescu, ruler of the autocracy of Delta Pavonis, told attending journalists, The conference will take place in Kessler City on Reagan's legacy, where our distinguished guests will enjoy our famous hospitality. I look forward to learning more about their respective proposals. This is the first time that the Federation has diplomatically engaged with Yuri Grom. Political observers noted that this tactful approach may be due to several federal factions recently declaring independence. Thargoid strike follows Salvation's prediction. Pilots Federation alert. The Cornsar system has been attacked by Thargoid forces, causing severe damage to 2 starports. Direct assaults against Chadwick Port and Ito Market stations have resulted in over 10,000 casualties. Local reports state that Thargoid vessels have also appeared elsewhere throughout the system, placing millions more lives at risk. The anonymous figure known as Salvation recently warned that Cornsar was in imminent danger of being invaded, having been alerted by his new Xeno detection network. Aegis could not verify Salvation's claim and saw no evidence of any Thargoid presence. The system's ruler, Marshal Noah Sharrow of the Allied Cornsar Constitution Party, transmitted this message. This is a call to any pilots in the vicinity of Cornsar. We urgently need ships to defend our people from the Thargoids and to rescue civilians trapped within Chadwick Port and Ito Market. This is a grave emergency. Aegis has released a brief statement. We can confirm there is a Thargoid presence in the Cornsar system. Unfortunately, most of our operations and personnel remain suspended due to the public inquiry, so we cannot contribute to any anti-Xeno efforts. There has been no further communication from Salvation, despite his accurate prediction of the attack. Pharma giant victorious in the Hades system. Pilots Federation alert. The Hades Purple Dynamic Group has fought off the Kumo Council assault, securing the completion of Neo Medical Industries' Onion Head project. The pharmaceutical corporation had received deliveries to Hades to begin producing Onion Head gamma strain for medicinal purposes. In response, the Kumo Crew Syndicate attacked Neo Medical's corporate partner but failed to achieve its objectives. Neo Medical Industries confirmed that investment in its project to mass-produce Onion Head gamma strain has increased following the conflict's resolution. The news was eagerly received in many alliance and independent systems, which have expressed interest in the new healthcare treatment. Owen Kendrick, CEO of Neo Medical Industries, told the media, "We owe a huge debt to the galactic community for defending our operation. Large-scale manufacture of Onion Head gamma strain can now commence. We will soon be able to improve the quality of life for millions of people. The Hades Purple Dynamic Group is offering rewards to its supporters from Crippen Port in the Hades system." Salvation warns of Thargoid strike. The anonymous figure known as Salvation claims that Thargoid forces will shortly launch an assault in the Cornsar system. The following message was received by all major news feeds. This is Salvation. Authorities in the Cornsar system must evacuate the local population immediately. I believe a Thargoid invasion of the system is imminent. I became aware of this danger while developing a new interstellar Xeno detection network, which will be far superior to Eagle Eye. Although the network is not fully complete, we cannot dismiss this report as a false reading. Cornsar must act now. Carter Armstrong, a chief administrator with Aegis, delivered an official statement. Aegis cannot validate this claim. There is no indication of a Thargoid presence in the vicinity, and Cornsar is too far from their known territories to be a viable target. As most of our operations are suspended due to the public inquiry, we cannot dedicate any resources to investigate further. There was also a response from Marshal Noah Sharrow, who governs the Cornsar system on behalf of the Allied Cornsar Constitution Party. We have no interest in the games of one-upmanship between Aegis and Salvation. Nor do we believe for a moment that the Thargoids would go out of their way to harass us. Rebellion spreads through the Federation. A further 7 federal factions have severed ties with the superpower in protest against government monitoring of communications. These latest secessions have been undertaken by minor factions that do not control any systems, including Untok Free, United Poznoi League and Progressive Party of Ingale. Political journalist Sofia Trevino reported for the Federal Times 8 factions had previously declared independence from the Federation, and now an even greater number forms the third wave of rebellion. It's clear that their populations feel empowered to take a stand against losing their constitutional rights of privacy. Vice President Archer shrugged off this latest development, maintaining that the Proactive Detection Bureau performs a vital security role in these troubled times. Since none of these latest factions currently govern a system, he may also believe that resistance to the PDB is on the wane. Although these events have only impacted a small part of federal territory, they
I've got
remain
somebody
an embarrassment for
joining
President
us.
Hudson's
At the moment,
administration.
we're just reading out some
Shadow
Galnet
President
news
Winters continues to
and
implore Congress
heading
to repeal
towards
the Domestic
planets
Counterterrorism Act, but
with
she has also taken political
potential
criticism since
for
many
life.
feel her rhetoric inspired these factions to secede. Empire marks anniversary of NMLA attacks. A day
I'll
of mourning.
stop the Galnet news there, as we are now getting close to the planet. Right, so we found a system with 2 water worlds, and the second star, almost every single planet has an atmosphere and is landable. I don't think many of them have life on them. I don't think I detected any when I scanned the system as a whole, but we'll just go through and map them anyway, and then continue to a we're actually heading towards a planetary nebula at the moment. So as soon as we've scanned this system, we'll head there. A little bit too far away. This must be a relatively small planet if we're too far away. There we go. Oh, it's not a small one, it's 7. Right, so let's see what that gives us. So we're looking for at least 2 forms of biological life, or
Surface
1
scan
if one of
by
them isn't
50%.
bacteria. In most cases,
Surface scan complete.
right, so we have geological, we have geysers and thermals on there, so we're not interested in geology at the moment. As we are next to the planet that's orbiting, we'll go and, oh, I think this is also, I think this is a binary planet, so I think both of them had an atmosphere. So let's get a bit closer. Overshot it a little bit there. Alright, so when it slows down, fire a few probes. Right, let's see what this one has.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan.
Nothing at all. Right, so yeah, we shouldn't be that far from the next planet. Right, so we just scanned these 2. The next one will be a little bit further away than those last ones because they're not orbiting each other, but we'll head there next. So 600 light seconds, that's about 2 minutes to get there, maybe a little bit less. Yes, what we're hoping to find on the planet is at least 2 biological signals, one of which will almost certainly be bacteria, and the other one we'll go and investigate, and that would be some form of plant life. Yeah, so if we find one of those, we'll go and investigate that. let's turn the Galnet news back on and listen to the end of that story.
Has been declared across the Empire to mark the first anniversary of the NMLA's Imperial Starport bombings. On Thursday, the 10th of September 3306, Imperial stations in the Samias, Gab Georgies, LHS 4031 and RAB systems were attacked without warning. Over 60,000 people were killed and twice as many wounded by powerful explosives that delivered a caustic enzyme payload. The Neo-Marlinist Liberation Army is an extremist paramilitary group that is dedicated to reforming Marlin Deval's original Republican government. Prior to these bombings, it had only performed minor strikes with low casualties. The NMLA's terror campaign grew to encompass all three superpowers with the 9 Martyrs attacks in March 3307. It also led to supporters of Marlinism fleeing from the Empire as refugees, eventually resettling in the Marlinist colonies. Princess Aisling Deval paid respects to the victims during a memorial ceremony at her palace on Emerald. She also spoke of her father Prince Harold Deval, who was assassinated by the NMLA shortly after the bombings. Messages of condolence have been sent by President Zachary Hudson, Prime Minister Edmund Marn, Imperator Hadrian Augustus Deval and First Minister Octavia Volkov. All vowed to continue contributing resources to ACT, which recently shut down many terrorist
I'm not
cells.
sure if this is a red
Coupled
planet
with the
or
loss
it's
of its
just got
political
a
wing, the NMLA
red
threat
sun
may
lighting it,
finally be
but
diminishing.
it's an
Surface
unusual
scanned
colour.
by 50%.
Archon Delane, which
Surface scan complete.
retaliates
nothing
against
on that.
Farmer Giant. Pilots Federation alert. The Kumo Council has declared war on the Houthis Purple Dynamic Group for the latter's role in supporting neomedical industries. The Pharmaceutical Corporation's recent campaign in the Houthis system enabled the mass production of onion head gamma strain, scheduled to be available as a medicinal product from alliance and independent markets. The drug is currently distributed in a handful of Anarchy systems by the Kumo Crew Syndicate. As hostilities erupted in the Houthis system, Archon Delane broadcast a message for neomedical industries. Did you truly believe you could steal from us and survive unscathed? Now your allies will pay for your greed with their blood. In response, CEO Olwyn Kendrick broadcast a call for help. This terrifying attack by the galaxy's most vicious pirates may pressure investors to withdraw, causing the entire project to collapse. If so, the vital materials that pilots delivered will be wasted. To prevent this, we urgently require support for our corporate partners against these criminals. The Houthis Purple Dynamic Group is offering rewards to pilots who help protect its ships against pirate assault. The Kumo Council has also offered to reimburse mercenaries who fight on their behalf. Neomedical Industries' Onion Head campaign concludes. Pilots Federation alert. The pharmaceutical megacorp has received sufficient materials to produce onion head gamma strain as a medical treatment. Pilots delivered shipments of
I think
HE
we've read this
polymers
news
and
out
robotics
before
to
in
Crippen
streams,
Port in the Houthi system. Payment for these
there's no
deliveries
point
is now
in
available at
continuing
the
on that.
starport from the Farmer Giant's corporate partner.
Another very red planet. So far I've never landed on a red planet to scan life, so I'm not sure if that's something to do with red planets not supporting life, or red planets being rare.
Surface scanned
Let's see
by
what's here.
50%. Surface scan complete.
Right, so there is nothing there. So yeah. So far when it comes to red planets, life nil. Right, so that's the last one to scan around this star. We've got one more over here to do, although that, how far, that is a very long way away. Yeah, that's half an hour. I'm not going to spend half an hour just to scan one planet. I will scan it again from a distance to see what's on there rather than actually go in there to map it. It's another very pink looking planet, so let's see if it holds true that pink planets don't hold light.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Yep, so no life on there. Right then, let's now we'll just target that one around the other star and use the system scanner to just detect if it does have. So what's the planet number? It is C8. So actually, yeah, point at it first, so make it a little bit easier to find on the spectrum analyzer. So C. Right, can't see a C8 there. C. Oh, it's probably around one of these binary things. C5. C6 and 6A. Right, where's C8 then? So 2. Oh, if it's a bit closer. C8, there we go. Alright, C8 has no features, so yeah, let's just, no point in going all that way just to map a single planet when there's nothing there anyway.
Frameshift drive
Right, so
launching.
continuing towards the planetary nebula.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging. Four, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Nothing in that system.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging. Four, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging. Four, 3, 2, 1. scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
Just 9 jumps now to
3,
the planetary nebula.
1, engage.
I should think we'll probably be able to see it about 2 jumps before we get there. There was a stellar nebula as well, which you can see from around here.
Fuel
Not sure if
scoping.
you can still see that.
System scan complete.
Do a quick circle of the sky, see if it's still visible.
Fuel scoping complete.
Not that you can really do a quick circle of the sky in the Anaconda. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, there's that stellar nebula over there. And again, that looked bigger and fiery as well, but that wasn't on our route, so it was a bit too far off our route to actually go and visit. So yeah, we skip that.
Frameshift drive charging.
Don't really like visiting stellar nebulas that much. They're nearly always been scanned. Most of the stars there have already been scanned. So when I'm out exploring, I try and choose a route that will avoid places where people have probably already scanned the planet. Gets a little bit tricky around the edge of the galaxy where the stars are so far apart that there's only really one route through them.
Fuel scoping.
So
Fuel
when
scoping complete.
we were at the tip of the spiral arm, pretty much every star there had already been scanned. Again, that's mainly because there is only one route to get to the fleet carrier at the tip of the spiral arm.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, did I show I was in this system?
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
My number of views in Twitch has gone up considerably since I last looked at it. Yeah, I don't seem to have had any viewers.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical. Frameshift drive charging.
Just 4 jumps now, so I imagine possibly after this jump or the next one we should be able to see the planetary nebula.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical.
So seeing any big fuzzy fiery blobs in front of us? No, can't see one.
Frameshift drive charging.
How many jumps is that? So 3 jumps to go, so yeah, maybe after this one.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
Ah, there we go. One fiery red blob. So yeah, that is where we're heading.
Frameshift drive charging. System scan complete. Fuel scoping.
Alright, and the fiery red blob should be the next jump.
Fuel scoping
So
complete.
I imagine it will be a lot bigger now than it was from the last system. So let's come in here. There we go. One fiery red blob. I think I'm going to take a screenshot of that. Right, so I shall drop out of Super Cruise.
Frameshift drive charging.
Go to the camera suite. Front of the bit. spaceship, get it running again. So I shall boost and then take a screenshot. Right, okay, so yeah, I'll just save that screenshot. I'm not using the F10 save screenshot tool that is built into the game because it's not worked since, well, I've not tried it recently, but not worked since the last update, and whenever you do try to run it, it drops your frame rate down massively. So let's head off to that system now.
Frameshift drive charging.
And see what it looks like from the inside. Right, oh, it's a black hole. Ah, right, okay, a black hole. This is, well, I've not discovered this one, but I think it's probably the first or second black hole I have visited on this tour. The first time I went to the centre of the galaxy, I was basically hunting for black holes. Right, so I can't actually see where it is. Right, let's look at the. Right, so that's it there. Again, you want to be very careful when you're around black holes because yeah, they're quite easy to bump into. Right, so that's the black hole. Now then, you won't be able to actually spot it's a black hole until we start moving, and you can sort of see the space warping around it. So there, as we're flying along, you can see the space bending around the black hole. So this must be quite a small black hole. If you've got a big one, then you get a lot more warping around it, and you see the Newton's rings a little bit more clearly. That is quite clearly. I've actually seen a little bit of black there, so I'll probably get a little bit closer to it. Alright, don't get too close to it. Right. I've not. Right, so that's the black hole. I've not saved the screenshot yet of the thing. Right, so I don't think actually taking a screenshot of that black hole would do much good. what else is in this system? I didn't have a look. Let's have a look, see what else is in this system. Is there anything worth scanning? We have a planet there with an atmosphere that we can land on. Yeah, so let's go to that. Right, I'm not quite sure where the black hole is now, so I don't want to bump into it. I have seen black holes in planetary nebulas before, so I found a pink one once. So there's a black hole in the middle of a pink cloud. I can't remember there being any other planets in there though. Yeah, it's quite easy to find black holes if you're looking for them. You just look for the heaviest things in the sector that you're in, and you can do that by name. So if you use the sector name and replace the first part of it with I think it's like 8A-H, that will show you the heaviest things in the sector in order. You can just go through and look at those systems and see which ones are the heaviest. So yeah, when I was searching for black holes, I stopped just searching for systems with a single black hole because there were so many, and I went on to searching for systems with multiple black holes. Now there are systems out there with 6 black holes, and quite easy to find systems with 3 or 4. And I've been to one with 6, and I think I discovered one with 5 in it. And that's how I got to Elite in exploration. That was mainly through searching for black holes long before we could map planets and land on planets. So I think I'm going to land on this planet regardless, unless I'll see if it's not been mapped. I will land on it regardless of whether there's life on there or not, because this is a very good place to get a screenshot. Right. Yeah, so it's even though this is on the map and it's a known system, it's been discovered. It looks like nobody's actually mapped it.
Surface scanned by 50%.
We have bacterial colonies. Anything else? No, just bacterial colonies. Yeah, so I don't normally land on a planet for bacterial colonies, but again, as this is in such a pretty nebula, I will land here. Right, so right, as we don't have a sun, or yeah, we do have a sun actually because it's a secondary star, isn't it? So we'll go and land near the region of dusk and dawn. Again, I'm not sure what you call a region of dusk and dawn on a planet that is
orbital flight engaged.
It will be permanently locked in that state. Right, that crater there looks like a good photo opportunity. Oh, we've got a sort of purpley blue atmosphere. That's quite nice as well. Right, the reason that I try and land in the area of dawn and dusk is because you get an interesting sunset, and it shows the atmosphere of the planets off a little bit better.
Landing gear deployed.
I'll try and land on the tip of that crater. Actually, over there looks like it's probably a little bit better. There we go, that should be okay. Right, the reason I chose to land on the tip of the crater is we can then get drive into the crater and then look up at the ship and hopefully get a nice view of the nebula. Although it's looking like the atmosphere, looks like the atmosphere is we actually have a. Right, let's drive down into the crater and see what it looks like when we look up at the ship. There's some bacteria in front of us as well, so that's good. Right, let's go for the screenshot. Again, this is a shot of the sky as much as possible. Right, so I probably want to extend it on the back of the SRV rather than the front. So let's do something about that. That's a pretty good shot in itself actually, but yeah, I think we'll go with that. Right, okay, let's save that. The name of the planet we're on is right, so that's saved, and I'll now go and scan that bacteria. I need to check what G is. It's 0.5 G, so it's yeah, quite a heavy planet. Oh, what's that there? Yeah, just a pile of shiny rocks. And that's almost illuminous. It's crashed. Yeah. That's not the first time it's crashed when I've started scanning a plant. Oh, have some viewers now. Right, so welcome everybody. Yeah, I mean that has just crashed on me. We're logging back in. We are doing a tour of the galaxy. We are in a black hole system with it's a planetary nebula. So let me show you where we are on the galaxy map. So we are around here. So yeah, I found a planetary nebula on the map of the fleet carriers, and we are in that system now. If I just go back to the game, the system has a cloud all around it, so that's why the sky is so speckly. I have just found some bacteria, which is what I was scanning when it crashed on me. Just a second, let me go back to Twitch so I can see comments coming in. Yeah, so we are just going to scan the bacteria on this planet. That's the only form of life on this planet. So I don't normally stop on planets for bacteria, but as this had such a pretty sky, I thought it'd be a good place to land. Yeah, so the atmosphere of the planet is sort of yellowy green colour. As we were landing, we were a bit higher up, it was a little bit more purple. So, there's even more bacteria down there, so I think we'll head down the hill to scan the bacteria rather than up it. So, so we'll just go back to the SRV, then we'll drive down the hill. I was going to drive up and drive around on the flat, but as the bacteria seems to be slightly luminous, it doesn't matter that it's dark down here. So yeah, that's the ship up there on the ridge of the crater. We're on the ridge of a quite large crater. It's a reasonably large planet with 0.5 G. I fly back up there, should be okay. I'm not sure if you joined the stream in time to see when we flew past the black hole, but we had some quite good gravitational lensing. Right, so what? The bacteria doesn't really show up very well in night vision. I can see it there, so it is fluorescent enough for me to be able to find it in the dark. If we just get the right way back up again. Stop spinning around and try and get back on wheels. There we go. So I think it was up here on the top of this. Yeah, there it is, just there. Right, so we need to scan three different versions of the same thing in order to get a complete sample, and you have to travel a certain distance between them. I'm not sure if we've travelled far enough that this counts as a different one, but there is another one over there. Honestly, there's quite a lot over there. It looks like the sun's rising as well, which might make it easier. Yeah, that was far enough. So if you want to put any questions in chat, I'm happy to try and answer them or talk. So it definitely looks darker in the SRV. That might be a little bit close. A bit more over here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, just disembark and see what's there. Yeah, we are far enough away. It's just slightly more blue than the first lot we found. That could be because we've got SRV light shining on it. Right, let's head back up to the ship now and we'll take off. Night vision could help out not looking for bacteria. uphill. Right, into the sunrise. Yeah, so yeah, this is all in all a very pretty planet. Right then,
Power plant capacity exceeded.
let's turn back into the sun. So as we go into orbit, we can see the atmosphere change.
Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Right, so if you didn't join the stream before we got to the black hole, I'll just put a screenshot up now to show you. That's what the this cloud looks like from the outside. So from the outside it looks a little bit more fiery. From the inside it's a little bit more blue than it is from the outside. So yeah, that is what we were heading towards. Yeah, so and yeah, now what we're going to be heading towards is a fleet carrier. So let me just get that web page up and we will plot the route to the fleet carrier. Right, so this is the map we're using. It has all the fleet carriers on it, and over here we have a list of different types of things we can add. So if I turn on planetary nebula, that will probably slow the map down because there are a lot of planetary nebula, but only one near where we are. Right, so this is the heat map of the galaxy. So that is where we are, that planetary nebula there, and we're next going to be heading towards this fleet carrier here, which having all those planetary nebula turned on, yeah, that slows the map right down. I think I'm going to have to refresh the page on there. Yeah, turn them off again. Yeah, right, so we are around there and we're heading towards this fleet carrier here. We'll get to the name of that system and go back to the game. Put in the galaxy map in the game. so that's where we're heading next. It's 2,400 light years away. Let's just go back over here and have a look at that planetary nebula on the galaxy map. Yeah, so that's what it looks like on the galaxy map. A big fuzzy red fiery ball. Right, okay, so let's head off. It's 34 jumps. 34 jumps will be about 40 minutes. So unless we find something really good on the way, we'll probably get there by the end of this stream. There's also sort of details in there as well in the map. Little lines in the atmosphere. Okay, that's quite nice. I'm not sure if it's intentional, but it's still quite nice. Right, let's go.
Frameshift drive charging.
Actually, I'll turn around and have a look back at this from the next system, so you can see what it looked like from the outside before we zoomed in.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Right, so if I should turn directly behind me. We should see the big, won't be as big as it was in the screenshot because that was zoomed in. There it is. So yeah, that's the planetary nebula that we've just come from. It's still a big fuzzy ball. Right, so let's change the mode. Scan the system. Right, so 32 bodies in the system. Nothing in the area we are interested in. So we're only interested in things between Earth-like worlds and water worlds. So they are the most valuable things. Again, the other things have value, but as I'm going to be jumping to a lot of systems on this trip, we can't scan everything in every system. That would just take forever.
Fuel
A
scoping.
little bit of extra refuel in
System
this
scan.
system, so we didn't refuel in the last one, but that shouldn't take more than a few seconds extra.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, that's close enough, not fully fueled, but and there's nothing in the system to
Frameshift drive
scan, so
charging.
we'll do another jump. So how many jumps is it? I said it was 32. So I normally reckon to do about 45 jumps an hour when we're not stopping to scan stuff. So 32 jumps and scanning the systems, which we probably will find. That will probably take this stream up to about 2 hours.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, so again that system was empty. I've plotted a route so that it will only take us to stars where we can refuel. So I've chosen not to visit stars where you can't refuel for two reasons. One, because you almost never find anything in a star system where you can't refuel, because the system is not big enough. It may have a few planets, possibly the ones you can land on, but this the chance that there'll be anything of real interest in there is very low. And the second reason is it means I don't have to concentrate so much. When you're travelling through regions of space where there are lots of stars that you can't refuel at, there's a pretty good chance that you will just keep going for several systems without realising you're running out of fuel, and then you'll be stuck without being able to jump to any other system where you can refuel. So that nearly happened to me a couple of times early on this trip, so I've turned that off. I will turn on the stars where you can't refuel at when I next get to an area of space where the stars are much further apart, just to enable you to jump between stars that you can refuel at. Although generally speaking, in those areas most of the stars you can refuel at anyway. And again, in those areas I'm being a lot more careful about fuel levels, because I'm trying to keep my fuel level below half, because having a fuel tank does reduce the jump range of the ship by about 2 light years. In those systems I try and keep it at about half to reduce the number of times I have to use FSD injection to increase the jump range.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Oh, just noticed my avatar's frozen. Let's wake that up again. So yeah, my head should start moving again soon.
Fuel scoping.
Yeah, that's working.
Fuel scoping complete.
We have a water world, 2 water worlds, and it's not a very large system, so let's start scanning that. Right, so what we're doing now is we are doing a long-range scan of the system, see what's here. So each planet or type of planet has a frequency, and we need to tune in that frequency, which is the dial at the bottom. And then when you find the frequency and you are pointing at the right direction, you can then zoom in on the planet and get the full information. So that's one of the water worlds, so we'll be visiting that. And this looks like the other one. Right, so that's the other one, and that is closer, so we'll be visiting that one first. We'll just scan the rest of the system. We've got a few ice worlds, I think, in here. There's an icy body, and probably some rocky ones as well. Yeah, rocky body. High metal content world. Another ice body. Right, so that's the system scanned. Let's have a look and see what we found. Yes, so no planets there with an atmosphere we can land on, so we'll just scan the 2 water worlds, and then we'll be off towards the fleet carrier again. So to map a planet, we need to fly pretty close to it and fire a number of probes in there. The number of probes depends on the size of the planet. Water worlds are normally between 6 and 7 probes. Moons are normally 2 or 4 probes. and gas giants can be anything from 8 to 22 probes. And again, the number of probes is an estimate depending on the size of the planet, and I'm firing probes with an extended range, so I can normally do it in about half the number of probes recommended. This is 6 probes. I'll fire 4 off in a tetrahedron pattern to cover the whole planet.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Right, so that's one completed. I'm just going to do the other one now. Right, so that's 700 light seconds away. That'll take a couple of minutes to get there. Yeah, so there's only one planet in this system that we can land on, and that didn't have an atmosphere. So yeah, there's nothing much to do in this system apart from scan these 2 planets. And it's looking like no one's been to this system before, so I should get bonus points for scanning these. Yeah, if you're the first person to scan a planet, you get a 50% bonus when you hand the data in. So far on this trip, about I'd say at least 90-95% of the planets I have scanned. Nobody's scanned before. Do a bit of a loop to slow down. Point away from the planet a little bit before we crash into it. And save the planet. Yeah, and so when it's 6, I fire one straight at it, and I'll go up. That line in the middle of the screen now is the horizon, so you go a little bit past the horizon, fire another one, then
Surface
go down
scan
around
by
120
50%.
degrees, fire another one at the same distance above the horizon, another 120
Surface
degrees,
scan
and fire
complete.
another one. And that's good for planets that require up to 8 probes. Right, so that's this system scanned. select the next system and continue.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete.
Alright, we've got in the system, nothing at all.
Frameshift drive charging. System scan complete. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical. Frameshift drive charging.
Yep, so not expecting to find vast amounts of stuff, so we are now about halfway through this sector.
3, 2, 1, engage.
Actually, no, we're about a third of the way through the sector, which is about the same length as some of the other sectors. But yeah, I found very little so far in terms of life. I'm surprised. I was expecting to find, as I moved towards the centre of the galaxy, I was expecting life to be more prevalent, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
Fuel scope disengaged.
Seems to be far more prevalent in the edge of the galaxy. Oh, looks like a unearth. No, it's not. It's just scanners in the wrong location. That's just a rocky world.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, I know the from the last tour of the galaxy I did, the most life I found was in the outer arm, which was the Sagittarius, Carina arm, and the Dryman's Point sectors. Virtually every single system of a water world had notable stellar phenomenon, which is the kind of life you get in deep space.
Fuel scope disengaged.
So they normally exist in ring systems or clouds.
Fuel scoping.
And yeah, there were those two sectors took me considerably longer than any of the other ones because I had to keep stopping and scanning the whole system every time I found something interesting, and I was finding something interesting every sort of 4 or 5 jumps. So I'm hoping when I go back there it'll be the same with life on planets. But yeah, it's going to be considerable time before I get that far. Be at least 2 months before I get into those two sectors,
3, 2,
judging by the speed I'm going at the moment. So I'm hoping to get to the centre of the galaxy at some point next week, and that will be 2 months into the journey. And then the two sectors where there's lots of life,
fuel scoping
it's
complete.
possible I can get to within 2 months. They will be about halfway around. So yeah, it's probably about 5 weeks away from there.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage.
There were a lot of Earth-like worlds in the outer arm sector of the galaxy, so that there were at least twice as many in that sector compared to any other sector that I've been in. Again, I compared that to the last time I did a tour of the galaxy, which was a couple of years ago now, and again back then there were a lot of Earth-like worlds that discovered in that one sector. Although that is not such a good point of reference, because on that trip I was just travelling the shortest route between my locations, which means I didn't spend an equal amount of time in each sector.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, this tour of the galaxy, I am following the spiral arms to the centre of the galaxy and then to the edge, and that means I'm pretty much travelling the longest route through every sector of the galaxy. There are a few exceptions. Again, some of the sectors of the galaxy have very few stars in them, particularly around the tips of the spiral arms. So they are largely empty sectors. So yeah,
Fuel scoping.
probably the amount of time I spend in there will be about the same, because I'll be going a lot slower, having to choose my route between the stars a lot more carefully.
Fuel scoping
But the number of
complete.
jumps I'll be doing in those sectors, and the amount of distance I'll be travelling will be a lot less.
Frameshift drive charging.
So how many jumps is it now? 21 jumps to go.
Four, three, two, one. Engage. System scan complete. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
System scans completed before we even open the stellar
Warning. Temperature critical.
scanner, so we can just jump straight to the
Frameshift
next
drive
system.
charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping.
Right, 23 bodies. system.
Fuel scoping complete.
Yeah, nothing in the region we're looking for. A few gas giants and a few rocky worlds. So the other area we're interested in is anything down here is either notable stellar phenomenon or man-made or Fargoid. Yeah, so if we find anything in there, we'll go and have a look at that. Or it might even be Guardian. So that there's a few Guardian structures which appear in that range, but yeah, so smaller than planets.
Frameshift drive charging.
The only thing I found in that range so far has been a tourist beacon and some notable stellar phenomenon from the first two sectors of the galaxy I visited. So I haven't seen any stellar notable stellar phenomena since then. I haven't been using the codex to deliberately find them, so apart from in the first sector where I was visiting places where I had found them in the past.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping.
And that was a very
complete.
small sector of the galaxy, so there wasn't a great deal in there anyway to look at. So yeah, I chose to go back
Frameshift
to
drive charging.
some of the points I'd found previously. You can use the codex to find locations of notable stellar phenomena as well. This time I haven't used the codex because again I'm trying to stick to systems where people haven't been before, and if it's in the codex then pretty much by definition somebody's already been there.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
Waterworld, and it's one of the ones that has five chevrons above it, which I think last time I saw one of those it was a large one. Let's see if we can find it. So, an icy body, nothing on it there. Another icy body with nothing on it. Same with that one. And that one. Alright, that's different. Alright, so it's a normal 6 chevron waterworld, so yeah, we will definitely be going to visit that. Looks like it probably has a moon. There's nothing on the moon. Icy body. And one last thing, looks like it is behind the sun, so we can't scan it from here. Right, so we'll go to the water world, scan that, and then we'll turn back and scan the last remaining body in the system that's behind the sun from this location. Right, so what we've got in the system, I think I kept an eye on the planets. It didn't look like there was anything that was going to support life, and yeah, so judging by that there isn't. So the planet we're missing is here, so hopefully we'll be able to get that from the water world. Someone else has joined us, so welcome. We're playing Elite Dangerous, and touring the galaxy. We are currently scanning a system with a water world in it, and after we've done that, we'll be heading off towards the next fleet carrier on my trip. Right, so as we're going to be past this moon on the way to the planet, I might as well scan the moon first. Right, so when it is around the same size as the orange arc around it, that means we're close enough to scan it, particularly for small planets. There we go. So just so it says it needs 4 probes, so I should be able to do that in 2. Just fire one direct at the front and one at the back. While they're heading towards the moon, I will head off towards this water world. So we can see there the arc of the, well, for a second we can see there the arc of the probe as it curved around to the back of the planet.
Surface scan complete.
So yeah, you don't have to fly around a planet to fire probes at it from all sides. The probes do act under gravity when you fire them at the planet, and if you fire them just right, you can hit the back of the planet as well. Right, okay, so now we map in the water world. So it requires 7, so I'm going to fire 4 in a tetrahedron pattern, and as my probes have extra range, that should cover a
Surface scan by 50%.
Yeah.
Surface scan complete.
Right, there we go. So off to the next system. So we've got 17 jumps now to get to the fleet carrier.
Frame shift drive charging.
That was everything in this system that was worth scanning. So when we scan the planets, what we're hoping to find, well, apart from the water worlds where we're just doing that for the data, to get the money for the data, but normally when we map a planet, we are hoping to find biological life and non-bacterial biological life. If we find that, we'll go down to the planet and scan the plant life on the planet.
Fuel scoping. System scan.
The last planet we landed on didn't have anything but biological life, but as it was in a system of a black hole, and it was a planetary nebula with a very interesting purple cloud around it, not purple, orange and sort of orange and turquoise colour cloud around it. We landed on the planet anyway, just to get some nice screenshots.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Yeah, so I've been on this trip now for nearly 2 months. It will be 2 months on the 21st.
Fuel scoping.
I've probably scanned well over 200 plants
Fuel scoping
by now.
complete.
We have found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 17 Earth-like planets. I did see some notable stellar phenomenon. We found one generation ship, although again I didn't discover that it was in a system of a fleet carrier. We also found one tourist beacon.
Frame shift drive charging.
Which again was in a system of a fleet carrier.
scoping. Field scoping complete.
Right, so let's see what's in the system. A bit of retuning, nothing.
Frameshift drive charging.
If you do want to learn a little bit more about the tour I've been doing, let me put the link on screen for you. Yeah, so at the top of the screen is the link to the web page. There's also a link to that in my about section on Twitch, so you can click on there. I also have a notice board on there where you can post comments or even images and videos. They can be posted on there. And there is a link to the YouTube channel where all the videos are stored. Only the videos, I can't remember how long it is that Twitch stores videos for.
Field
It's a week or
scoping
maybe 2
complete.
weeks. So yeah, yeah, most of the videos are on YouTube. Right, so nothing in this system.
Frameshift drive
continue.
charging. Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
I wonder if the reason why there's more life in the outer sectors of the galaxy is because they are older systems that are more stable. I would have thought that with them being further apart, the chances of life spreading between them would be a lot lower, particularly as it's all natural spread. It's not man-made spread as far as we can tell, although you don't know whether or not the Fargoid or the Guardians went around seeding planets
Fuel scoping.
thousands of years ago. Yeah, we'll see what it's like when we get to the centre of the galaxy.
Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, so far in the Arcadian stream, I've only found 2 planets with plant life on there, apart from that bacteria, and they were both orbiting the same planet. So the moons orbiting the same planet, which is a lot lower than when you consider some of the outer sectors of the galaxy. Yeah, even right at the very tip, I was regularly finding planets with life on there and water worlds. So
Frameshift drive charging.
right, so it's 2 o'clock, which is about the time I estimated would be at the fleet carrier. But then again, we did stop and scan two systems with water worlds, which has
2,
slowed us down a little bit.
engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one, engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
Yeah, nothing much in that system.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one, engage.
Right, so let's see what's in this system.
Fuel scoping.
24 bodies.
Fuel scoping complete.
Yep, nothing there.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one, engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical.
So we'll just get away from the star a little bit and then we'll check what's in this system. So there we go, that's the star's distance. Yeah, just one gas giant. I wonder if the transaction panels shows codex discoveries. Yeah, so I've got nearly 4 million in codex discoveries, or over 4 million in codex discoveries.
Frameshift drive charging.
So yeah, so they keep adding in there, and I'm not always sure why they're being added, because they seem to be for scanning perfectly ordinary planets.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, somebody else has joined again. So welcome to the tour of the galaxy. We are currently travelling through the Arcadian stream sector of the galaxy, and we're heading towards a fleet carrier. We are hoping to find planets to scan on the way, and the types of planets we're looking for
Fuel
are
scoping.
Earth-like worlds, ammonia worlds, and water worlds. So if we find those,
Fuel scoping complete.
stop and scan the system, and hopefully find some planets with life on as well, and go and scan those. But we haven't found a great deal in this stream so far. We did find a black hole
Frameshift drive charging.
in the middle of a planetary nebula, which it was a target I found from a map, so I expected to find something of interest there. We also found two systems with water worlds, which we scanned and mapped the water worlds. And now we're just heading towards the next fleet carrier on the trip around the galaxy. So again, I'm following the spiral arms of the galaxy. We'll be going to every sector of the galaxy, visiting every fleet carrier on the way.
System scan complete.
I'm sure it's not the quickest route to go and visit the fleet carriers, but yeah, visiting the fleet carriers was just an extra goal I put in there after I'd actually set off. So the purpose was to travel the full length of all the spiral arms, not to go and visit the
Frameshift
fleet
drive
carriers.
charging.
Just 4 jumps now to the next fleet carrier.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical. Frameshift drive
In the
charging.
system. So let's cool down a little bit more before we jump to the next system. There we go.
Frameshift drive charging.
So fleet carriers are normally parked in systems where there's something interesting. Not always. Been to a few where the systems are well, there's nothing obvious in the system as to why the fleet carrier would be there. The last fleet carrier I visited, it was parked in a sector of the galaxy where 4 sectors meet. So if you look at the galaxy map, there is only one location where 4 sectors all meet at the same point.
Fuel scoping complete.
I'm pretty sure that's why they've chosen that location. The system itself had nothing of interest in there, other than 2 planets that were very close to each other and orbiting. Right, so
Frameshift drive
I'll have a
charging.
check what's in this sector. Just a gas joint.
Frameshift drive charging.
Right, so we've got a big blue star. This is probably going to be a neutron star when we drop out. Oh no, it's not a neutron star. I think it's a yellow one. So
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
So yeah, nothing else in the system to look at.
Frameshift
might be
drive
the,
charging.
Yeah, the next jump will take us to the system with the fleet carrier.
Fuel scoping complete.
Right, so let's see why the fleet carrier chose this system. That will be the fleet carrier. There's no Earth-like water worlds in this system. Can we see anything else in this system map that suggests why the fleet carrier is here? Oh, we've got two fleet carriers. Right, okay. Alright, so I'm going to go to the Deep Space Support Array 1, because that is the one that would be on the map. That is orbiting a planet that could have life. That is the only one. So, right, so as I'm not desperate to have my hull repaired or anything, yeah, it's still at 100%, so I'm not desperate for that, so I might as well go and visit that planet first. Right, so while I'm heading off over to there, I'll just check to see what the name of the fleet carrier is that I was expecting to see in this system. The DSSA Callisto. Well, I'm sure one of the other fleet carriers I visited was also called the Callisto. Doesn't matter. So even though there are two fleet carriers orbiting this, nobody's actually mapped it. Right, let's see what we find.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scanned.
And we have two forms of biology, so we will go and look at the Fonticula. I still don't know how you pronounce that word. So it looks like we're on the dark side of the planet at the moment when we go to the somewhere between dawn and dusk. Right, so we don't want to land in that crater because that is a speckly area, but we will head to the solid colour. Head over here.
Orbital flight engaged.
Somewhere near that mountain range there. Right, so it's a relatively featureless planet. Flipping between the blue view and this view. This view is what it actually looks like. The blue overlay is the heat map of the particular life form that we've chosen to scan on the planet, which in this case is the word I can't pronounce. There are different forms of them, so they're either big, flat, fungoid-looking type things with big flat leaves, or they can be blue, spiky, cactus-looking type things. And there is a third version of them, which I can't remember offhand what they look like. Right, so we are. They should be big enough to be able to spot from the spaceship before we land. So I'm just flying around a little bit, seeing if I can land. There's some there. Yeah. So it is the tree-like fungi type ones. So right, let's land there.
Landing gear deployed.
Get into the newly refueled SRV. Oh no, it's not newly refueled yet because we haven't landed at the fleet carrier. So the main reason for landing at the fleet carrier is not to repair the ship, which in this case isn't damaged.
No gravity warning.
Has very little damage on it. And it's not to refuel either, because we can do that from stars. The main reason is to refuel the SRVs, because if I didn't refuel them at the fleet carriers, I'd have to use up resources to refuel them, and as I'm on a long trip, I want to make those resources last as long as possible. Right, so let's scan it and try and think of an interesting way to do the screenshot. I was going to try and get a screenshot. There was some interesting writing on the SRV. I was going to try and get really close to that, and I'm not sure you can see it when the thrusters are in the out position. Right, let's see what I can do. Right, so I'm going to get behind the SRV. I think the collision box is a little big on this camera when you're on the planet. You can't actually get that close into things, which it doesn't seem to be the same when you're in a space station, but when you're out on a planet, it's right. Coming to the view from like underneath the SRV. No, so even though we can walk under the SRV, we can't actually. Alright, what about that one? Let's zoom in a bit, see. Right, okay, that seems to work. Right, let's go with that, just a bit of a twist. Yeah, so I have seen on the SRV somewhere it's got like, I think it's near the thrusters, it's got danger warning labels. I was hoping to get that into the shot as well. Right, okay, that's a screenshot. And as always, we'll name the screenshot after the planet so that we we know where it is. And to get the name of the planet, you need to look at the system map. So select the planet you're on or at, and then click on the copy name button, and that will copy the name into your clipboard, which you can then paste. I'm using Paint because it's quick. I'm not actually doing any edits to the pictures, so yeah, that's perfectly fine. Right, so now we need to go back into the SRV and go fly around, drive around the planet, and scan 2 more lots of that type of plant. I won't bother with the bacteria because yeah, they are generally speaking too hard to find. The only reason I could get on the last planet was because it was the only thing that was there, and also because it fluoresced, so it made it a little bit easier to find in the dark bits. So here we go, disembark. So as well as plant life on planets, there's also geological activity you can go and find, and you can also just drive around the planet's surface looking for minerals, which normally appear as rocks or meteors on the planet's surface, which you can shoot, and they will then explode and release useful elements. But I'm mainly stocked up on those elements, so haven't got a great need for them at the moment. The elements I am short of are the ones that are used in FSD injection, and I think I'm a little bit short on nickel, which is used for I was using it for synthesizing limpets to go and repair my hull. So I think there's plants in that hole there. So let's park on the rim of that hole. And then go and scan the plants. I've actually driven into the hole, it's not that big. I did lose one SRV by accidentally driving into a hole where it was so deep and the walls were so high I couldn't get out. I did manage to fly out on foot though, so it was only the SRV I lost, and not a large amount of data. Right, so that's that sample complete. So we'll now head off to the fleet carrier, and we'll take a screenshot of that as well, and refuel the SRVs. Do any repairing that's necessary as well, but given we're 99% hull on the SRV, but that repairs itself when you're in the ship anyway, so there's no need to repair the SRVs. But yeah, the fuel does get used up, and that doesn't get refueled when you're refueling at a star. So yeah, the only way to refuel that is by buying fuel at a fleet carrier. Yeah, having the deep space support array has made long distance travel far less perilous. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, the risk of you getting damage and not being able to complete your journey is far lower than it used to be.
Cannot comply. Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Right, so now it's just the fleet carrier. I think I'll call that the end of the stream. We've been going for about 2.5 hours now, and we've covered, I think we've probably covered about 5,000 light years in this stream. I've probably done, I don't know, getting on for 50 or 60 jumps, and that can't be right. That's yeah, no, 50 or 60 jumps would be not 5,000 light years, so it's probably a little bit less than that. Oh, was a codex discovery. Standard gas giant. Press O. Oh, alright, that's actually taken me in to the codex. Last time I tried this, I pressed O, nothing happened. Right. So why I'm discovering that when there's a fleet carrier parked around it, I don't know. Yeah, unless it's the first standard gas giant I found in this system. Yeah, who knows. So again, what I'm mainly after is the plant life. Rather than the planets. So yeah, so what we would find in the organic section. So right, these are all the different things we can find in this sector. I still haven't found any of those anywhere. I've not seen any of those yet either. But the rest of them I have seen in other sectors. Oh, bacteria, yeah, so bacteria. So again, there's often different types. So not really interested in the different types of bacteria. Now these ones, so there's two forms of those. I might actually look to see if there's any of those on the way. I've seen these before, or not that form, or that one. Actually, no, I think I may have seen that one, but I've definitely seen that one. They look like little eggs inside protective cages. Found loads of the shrubs and tussock, a few tubes, The fungoida, found plenty of that. So, oh, I've not found that type yet, but definitely found that type and that type. Yeah, I haven't found any of these yet, so I'm not sure if because these all have to be on systems with biological life and geological activity, but I'm not sure if they show up as a biological life form or if you just have to go to the geological sites to view those. Right. Oh, anyway, let's go back and land on the fleet carrier. I don't know if that is this side of the planet or the other side, those rings. It could even be in the rings. Very close to the planet though. Let's just fire a couple of probes into the rings to see what's there. Slow down, try again.
Surface scan complete.
I don't see that probe. There we go. Ring. So either it didn't hit the ring or there's nothing at all in that ring. Yeah.
Hello, Commander. Please stay aware of other ships around this carrier.
Right, so it's right next to the planet. Should be a good opportunity for a good screenshot. I think the nameplate on these is at the front of the
Surface scan
landing
complete.
bays. And I do want to get the planet or the rings and come and get both. Right then. So I think like that we can get everything in. Right, so let's go to the camera and see what we can come up with. Yeah, that's looking good like that. So we've got the name, the ring, my ship, the fleet carrier, and the planet, and the so let's save that picture. And we'll name it after the planet and the fleet carrier. Okay, so it's actually orbiting the gas giant, not the moon. So I'll copy that name, and then we'll copy the fleet carrier's name. Yeah, most of the fleet carriers in the Deep Space Support Array are DSSA. Older name starts DSSA. Right, so that screenshot is now saved. So I'll now just land on the fleet carrier and refuel and call that the end of the stream.
Clearance granted. Move directly to your landing pad.
Landing gear deployed.
Contact confirmed. Clamps engaged. What can we do for you,
we
Commander?
always enter the menu so we can repair the ship's integrity, which seems to take far more of a hit than I would expect. Normally you can take the hull in a ship down to practically zero and repair it a couple of times before the ship's integrity gets down between 50, but on this trip the ship's integrity takes a bigger hit than the hull does.
Landing clamps
Again,
disengaged.
repairing the ship's integrity is
Restrict
something
speed
that
until a
you
carrier is far behind you.
when you land at a space station. Right, so I'll call that the end of the stream. So we've found a couple of water worlds, a black hole with a very pretty cloud around it, a couple of bit of plant life on the planet in this system. We will be back again soon, don't know when yet. I'll probably wait till I find something interesting to find, and we will continue on the tour of the galaxy. Let's just finish on the galaxy map again. So yeah, we are now here. The next main target will be this fleet carrier here, but I will look on the maps to see what's between here and there before I go, and if there's anything interesting I will visit those on the way. Okay, so thanks everybody for watching, and 07 Commanders, and I'll see you next time.